You know what? I'm starting to miss Europe. I wanted to go back there for a vacation. 3 minutes later. I'm back in Europe. Oh, get out of here, mate! Okay, never mind. I remember why I left. I'm out of here. Why does everyone always want to come over to Europe? Yeah. You know what? I'm never doing this again. I better get out of here before an iguanodon comes and tries to rob me by stabbing me with its thumbs. Hello guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Epic Evolution Neovenator. So let's get a closer look at this figure. But first, let's look at the box, which we have Epic Evolution logo, tail logo, which I never really show off. Then we have Jurassic World logo in this upper corner, and it's a river biome animal, which I'm going to have to flip the box upside down for you guys to see it, and even then you can barely see it. But yeah, then on the back of the box you can see just how nice this figure is. And yeah, here's the Triceratops in that little corner. I'm not a fan of that Triceratops, but anyways, let's take this guy out of the box. I'm super excited for this one, especially just the paint scheme and everything. Which, let's just cut that there. And then we can take it out of the box. This is actually quite a bit heavier than I was expecting. Here's our neovenator, which is absolutely glorious. But there is one tiny flaw with it, which we'll get to really soon. Which is the head. The head, I understand a lot of people are not a fan of, but it grew on me eventually, and now I really do like this figure. At first, I was really disappointed in the head, but I like it now. I'm actually a fan of it. And I did do, I did concept for the Mapusaurus, which is coming out soon, which I literally just took the neovenator and switched the head with, a more accurate, Mapusaurus head. And, it looked very well. Honestly, this figure would have been perfect if it just had a more proper head, but this head is still nice. And also, if we open its mouth, we can see nice pink fleshy color. And the teeth are actually individually sculpted in rubber, so that's very nice. Along, if I pull these quills up, these nice spiky quills are also kind of rubbery. Also very easy just to pull up and down. Here are its arms, which there are no claw paint, but it is still very nice and very textured. And just going down this figure, you just see all the detail they put into this figure, along with the osteoderm kind of spikes on it down its back, which gives it a nice kind of flare. On the other side, it should be about the same on this opposing side of it. But yeah, this thing really excels in the paint, though. Literally, it's just blue with some yellow on the stomach. But the gray kind of striping that goes throughout the whole body just bring this figure to a new level. Let me just show off the scan code for anyone who wants to add Neovenator to their Jurassic Pack set. Which, it looks very nice. Here's the scan code, though. And again, I actually really did not like Neovenator for a while because I saw the Dinosaur King one, and that's the first thing I ever saw it, and it looked really ugly in Dinosaur King. But then I actually kind of learned that Neovenator is actually, well, a European Carcharodontosaurus, so, yeah. I really like Neovenator now. And for the articulation, the head can move, but that's part of the action feature. The jaws can open, which is also part of the action feature. And the arms are loose, which are part of the action feature. So the only articulation is really in the legs, which they kind of snap into position. Which is very good, though, for the legs don't get too loose over time. And there's surprisingly no articulation at the base of the tail, but there is at the very end of the tail. There's a little bit of articulation, and it's completely gray there, but still very nice. Now onto the action feature. There's a little scrolly thing on the top of its back, which you can scroll, and it does this. Also, at first, I wasn't a fan of this action feature, but I do like it much more now. It's pretty good. You can just go chomping at everything. And the quills also give it a nice flare when it's up. And if you don't like the quills, you can just put them down so you can barely notice them. Now, let's measure this figure. And this figure comes in at about over a foot, so I'd say about 14 or 13 inches in length. Which, let me get this whole thing in the frame, actually, before I actually measure it. But again, yeah, it's about 13 or 14 inches in length. And in height to the hip is about 5, and to the head is about 6. which is very nice. Next, let's compare it to a human figure, which is sized up with very nicely. Not too big, not too small, and this action feature would probably work really nice just to go chomp on a human figure, which and also kind of slash at it with its arms, and then you could probably chomp at it. But yeah. Now next, let's compare it to a Velociraptor, which it absolutely dwarfs. And then we should compare it to the Jurassic World Epic Evolution Gryphosuchus, which I have a review of that coming out or already out. And let's just do this all in one frame. Here's it with Papasaurus, Plesiosaurus, and then Eoraptor and Stegosaurus, which it dwarfs them all at once. Also, another thing about this figure, this is the only good Carcharodontosaurus we've gotten into. The Carcharodontosaurus isn't too good, and the Giganotosaurus is the worst figure Mattel's released. Speaking of that, here is the worst figure Mattel's ever decided to make. Why did they do this? I could spend a whole video just talking about everything wrong with this figure. I'm just going to review it compared to this Neovenator. The Neovenator is dwarfed by it. I'm getting this thing off my screen right away. But anyways, now let's compare it to... So first, let's compare it to the Yanktwanosaurus, which the Yanktwanosaurus, I'm actually a little bit shocked. He's a bit bigger than this guy. It's also slightly longer in length, and then when you put it in its alternative position, it is definitely taller than it. But yeah, that's it compared to the Yanktwanosaurus. Then here it is compared to the Ampulosaurus, which I put it behind here. They're very similar in size. And also, they both share the kind of osteoderm spikes. Next, we have it compared to Siamosaurus, which looks much bigger than it is, but it's not much bigger than it is. It's about the same length, and the hips come to about the same place. Then next, let's have it compared to the Sinotyrannus, which it's about the same size as, actually pretty close to, in fact. If you have the Sinotyrannus, it's kind of like that, except a little bit shorter in the back end. And last but not least, here's it compared to the Behemosaur, which, of course, it actually is very close in size to it. It's kind of like reversed if I were to turn it this way. Since the back end is kind of slumped down, they're very similar in size. But just leave it at that. Though the Behemosaur's head is very low to the ground, and the Neovenator's is not. And could probably slash at this guy's face a lot. And you could just bite it right there. But anyways, let's get back to the review. So, for my final thoughts on this figure, just look at its face for long enough and it'll probably grow on you. Besides the face being not the best, this is a really great figure. And also the action feature is kind of fun just to play with, just going. It's very fun. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. And goodbye. And also, again, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Goodbye.